So last week, as I was, when I stand at the door after service, and as we were leaving last week, somebody came by and said, your message really reminded me of the peace of God and the love of God. I said, wow, that's really sweet. Really nice to hear that. And he said, yeah, it passed all understanding and it endured forever. Just kidding. Sometimes I hope you don't feel that way. Sometimes I wonder if you do. Sometimes I tell on myself, but sometimes I leave on Sundays and I think, what did I say? Or why did I say that? Or why didn't I say that? Or what did I say? It's interesting. But last week, I'll just share with you that I did have a bit of a struggle. After the service, yes, but earlier in the week, I was struggling a little bit because what came up for me was, why am I doing this? Why am I here? Really, what is the purpose? What's this about? What's it all about, Alfie, And so I really struggled with that a bit. Have any of you ever struggled with, what am I doing this, What's it really all about? Why are we doing this, even? Why do we come together on Sunday morning? Why do we have our classes? Why do we do Christmas Eve services, And so I was really in that mindset of, it's just another thing to check off the list, especially around Christmas time. There's a lot of things on the list. And so I was sort of in that place of, we got to do another Christmas Eve service. Really, I don't like admitting that, but it really was where I was. And so I went into my own prayer and meditation around that, and what I was reminded of is our mission. The mission and vision of our center, and my own personal mission that I've shared with you before. Our mission here is to inspire spiritual awakening and personal transformation. And I think my personal mission plays a part in that. And my personal mission is to support humanity's awakening to and expressing of the transforming power of love. And so I hope that my personal mission helps to drive everything that I do, just as I hope the church's mission, the center's mission, drives everything that we do. And that's why we do what we do. And I believe that our mission, my mission, supports the center's mission. I believe the center's mission supports Unity Worldwide Ministries' mission. And hopefully it supports what I believe is the mission of humanity, which is to live, as my title says today, live the mystery. Now, I'm not talking about living in the mystery of not knowing, because there are a lot of things that are mysterious. What I'm talking about living the mystery is, as Emily Cady said in Lessons in Truth, conscious knowledge of an indwelling God, which we so crave, is that of which Paul wrote to the Colossians as, quote, the mystery which has been hid for ages and generations, but has now been manifested, Christ in you, your hope of glory. Christ in us, God in us, living through us, our hope of glory. It's what Emily Cady in Lessons in Truth and Charles Fillmore, the co-founder of Unity, said that's what Paul was talking about when he wrote to the Colossians about the mystery that has been hidden for ages. It's Christ in us, the Christ that we celebrated on Christmas morning, of the awakening of the Christ within us all, the birth of the Christ. And as I thought about this week, I thought, maybe it's good for me to get away from using the word Christ so much. I don't know. Because I know there's a lot of energy in that word for many people. Just as there's a lot of energy around the word God. Some of it positive and some of it not so positive for everybody. That God has a lot of connotations for people, especially people who have been somewhat abused by religion in the past. The word Christ has some energy around it that may not be positive for everybody either. I'm not saying I'm going to get away from using the word Christ, because I probably won't. But what I want to say today is that what I want to talk about is that within us, God in us, as Charles Fillmore says, the truth that divine man is manifest God, is the great mystery hid for ages. That we are manifest God. We are God manifested. We are God in expression. We are the power and the presence that we talk about in expression. So if you want to talk about the power, that the mystery that has been hid for ages is the power of God that expresses in us and through us and as us. It's not just out there somewhere. It is not an ideal that we have to sort of reach for, not out there. It is within us. And I don't mean within the body, I mean within our ability, within our consciousness, within accessibility to us every moment of every day. In fact, we are never separate from it. The power that God is to move through us, in us, as us. And we have the ability to use that power. That is what Charles Fillmore and Emily Cady and Paul were talking about when they talk about the mystery that's been hidden for ages. We think it's somewhere else. We think we have to look for it out there somewhere. But it's right here within us. And it is the power that the Fillmores taught about and talked about, the power to transform our very lives. To transform our minds, to transform our bodies. To transform our bodies, to heal our bodies, to transform our life experience. It is the power that we are, and it is the power that we use. And not only to transform our lives, but to transform the world, if you will. To transform the world. To make a difference in the world. Behold, I saw a new heaven and a new earth. The former things had passed away. That is what we're talking about. Through our own willingness to live that mystery, the God in us, to use that power to claim the Christ consciousness, we create a new heaven and a new earth. It's not a fantasy. It's not a dream. It may be a dream, but we can make it a reality. It's a vision that we can hold. Where there is no more hunger. There is no more war. There is no more homelessness. There is no more suffering, gnashing of teeth. Where we know the power and we use the power. because we are the power. So that is what I mean by living the mystery. And I believe that that is humanity's ultimate mission, to live the life of God in the world and to transform the world. And we do that thought by thought, step by step, person by person. You know the old saying, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. One thought at a time. One action at a time. That's how we live that vision, that mission in the world. And we do that, I believe, through claiming the power of love and expressing that power of love for ourselves and for the world. I love this quote. And I'm not French, so I'm not sure I'm saying his name right. Teilhard de Chardin, the great Catholic mystic, wrote, "The day will come when after harnessing space, the winds, the tides, gravitation, we shall harness for God the energies of love. And on that day, for the second time in history, man will have discovered fire." The fire of God burning in our hearts. The fire of the divine life energy. And we shall harness for God the energies of love. And we shall be that love in the world. And also I want to share with you, Daria shared this on Facebook yesterday, and I'd heard it before, but it was a great reminder for me from the great theologian Howard Thurman, who said, when the song of the angels is stilled, when the star in the sky is gone, when the kings and princes are home, when the shepherds are back with their flocks, the work of Christmas begins. To find the lost, to heal the broken, to feed the hungry, to release the prisoner, to rebuild the nations, to bring peace among the people, to make music in the heart. And so we celebrate Christmas, the awakening, the birth of the Christ. And after all that, the real work of Christmas began. The real work of being the Christ in the world. The real work of being love in the world. As Jesus said, when you've done it unto the least of these, you've done it unto me. And so, in keeping with that, I want to share with you today that one of our congregants, Jessica Wynn, brought to the council a few months ago an opportunity for us to participate in a program called the Family Promise. Family Promise is an organization that works with homeless families. That can be families of two parents or a single parent with at least one child under the age of 18 who are homeless, and they work with them to help them establish themselves, to find jobs, to find ways of supporting themselves. And part of that program is that they provide homes. places for them to live, stay overnight. And a lot of churches participate in that. And so I was excited by the opportunity. It's wonderful how life shows up, how God shows up to offer us an opportunity. And so I want us to, we are considering very strongly our participation and how much we can participate. Not that we're going to participate, but at what level we can really participate, and it's going to take all of us to do that. So I want to show you a video about Family Promise real quickly, so you get an idea of what they're about.
We were at a point where we were ready to make a change, so we moved here from Maryland. Things went south fast. We wrecked the car and we ran out of money.
Right now, families comprise 40% of the homeless population across the country, and that's true in the Denver metro area as well. 1 in 4 children will experience homelessness in their lifetime.
We went into Family Promise and it's been uphill since.
I thank God for Family Promise, definitely. I believe Family Promise is God sent, you know, God sent.
Family Promise of Greater Denver is going to end homelessness one family at a time. That's why we come in every day and do what we do.
Main goal is to successfully help these families move from where they are to where they want to be. Family Promise of Greater Denver is a life thread.
We support them through a 60-day program. We focus on self-sufficiency and really giving them an opportunity to take a breath, to evaluate where they're at, and so that they can move on to the next chapter in their lives.
At the day center will be one of the first places, you know, I could kind of sit back, let the kids play in a playroom there, and get my resources to be able to go out and apply my skills.
They have an opportunity to be here at the day site, pursuing their goals, working on resumes, looking for a job, caring for their children. And then every night they have a safe place to go, and that's within one of our host congregations.
Every child that comes in gets a stuffed animal on their bed. And I think it's little things like that. And we let them know that when they move into a room, that is their sanctuary for the week.
Our congregations convert Sunday school rooms and meeting rooms into private bedrooms for our families, and that's their home for the week.
Providing a safe environment to just relax and be comfortable and, you know, have good food, fun times, support in that way is a key component of them finding the success they're looking for.
So tonight we have a different topic.
My staff 2 nights a week goes out and teaches life skills classes.
Anybody try the empathy statement from last week?
By the time our families leave here a week later, wow, we really feel like they're family. Mm-hmm. And it's often very hard to say goodbye.
I think the most rewarding part was the day we moved in, and my youngest says, "Mommy, can we stay here?" And for me to tell him, yes, we can stay here, you know, was like, sorry, I'm gonna cry. Was so rewarding to me. To give him a home, to give them a home, you know, was something like so amazing to me, you know. So.
Each and every person in the world today they can be rich, tomorrow they can be poor. And this feeling that you get from being involved with families and helping them is an overwhelming feeling.
This is a partnership. This is about establishing a relationship with our families and surrounding our families with adults who care about them. And sometimes that's the first time they've had someone care about them in a long time.
I just feel like that forever they will be a part of our family, forever.
So I want to ask Jessica if she would come up and share a little bit with us from her experience of volunteering with Family Promise.
Good morning. I am so excited that we are looking into this possibility. My husband and I spent a lot of time researching nonprofits We wanted to find one that really resonated with what we believe in. We wanted to make sure that their programs were effective, that money was used wisely, and Family Promise went beyond everything we had hoped for, because beyond not using a lot of resources, because they use community resources, they use church buildings, donated food, all of that to provide shelter on an emergency basis. Beyond that, they build community. So I believe there is enough in the world. There is no lack. There is enough resources, there are enough homes, there is enough food, there is enough love for everyone. And what is missing is connection. So I want to help, and I come to this church, but there's nobody in this church that really needs my help. Not like the families at Family Promise do. And those families are so similar to me. When I go to dinner with them, they love their kids. They're trying to discipline their kids, and they have the same challenges I have with that. They're trying to teach their kids. And so this is an opportunity to help support them so that they can support their kids and they can reach their goals and get where they want to go. We live in a bubble. I meet a lot of people that are in the same demographic I am. And so this is an opportunity to really connect with people that I normally wouldn't come across. So I've attended a couple of dinners so far, and what I saw were people making connections. There were families making connections with other families, volunteers connecting with other volunteers, and of course volunteers connecting with families. And that is so valuable because maybe you know of a job contact for someone, or maybe you have a suggestion for housing, or who knows how you might be able to help a family. Or maybe you just send love and prayers. And it was fun. It was really fun. Because the kids are there, it's not awkward. And my kids, I had to drag them out because they were having so much fun, they didn't want to leave. So a couple of things that I heard while I was there. One of the volunteers told me the experience changed her life. It brought her closer to God. Another volunteer told me that they believe their church is a house of God and it should be shared with everyone. And finally, one of the moms experiencing homelessness told me how grateful she was and what a blessing the program had been for her and her family. So Terry and I have put sign-up sheets around the church. There's one in the children's garden, there's one in the fellowship room, another one in that room we don't know what to call, and another.
There's one
There's
by
one
the
more.
sign-up desk.
Oh, one by the sign-up desk,
If you
right.
can't find them, we'll help you.
Right, so please sign up if you're at all interested in volunteering for this. There is a job for everyone, because if you can imagine hosting families for a week, we would feed them lunch, breakfast, and dinner. We need people to stay overnight. We need people to cook dinner, to babysit, to drive the van, even just to do laundry. So if you have 1 hour or 10 hours, there's a job for you, whatever your skills, whatever your strengths are. There's also, we're going to pass out some handouts to give you more detailed information on how the program works, so we'll hand those out as you're walking out. And Terry and I have faith that these sign-up sheets will be full, and that our church would benefit as much as the families we serve. You have anything to add?
I just want to let you know that March 6th is the first week we are considering doing this, and we do it every 3 months. So for a week, every 3 months, we have 3, 4, or 5 families. So that's what we need you for. We know you're here for them. We know we're all here for each other, and that this is truly God's work and the work that we all need to be doing. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. In his book, The Emerging Church, author Bruce Sanguin, who's also a minister, shares this in his song, This Thing in My Heart. Bruce Cockburn writes, quote, "I've got this thing in my heart I must give you today. It only lives when you give it away. The thing is love, and the only way to keep it alive is to find ways to give it away." He says nothing defines a healthy congregation better than how much love they give away. When a congregation gets it, that it's not just about them, not about meeting the budget or providing programs for members, the chances of surviving, and I would add thriving, increase exponentially. And so I know that we have enough love. That's really all it's about, isn't it? As Jessica said, there's enough. There's enough resources to go around. And there's enough love in this congregation to reach out to these people who need our love and our support, to embrace them, to bring them in, and to help them find their way. I know if I was in that position, I would hope that someone would share that kind of love with me.